Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tips for Tom, which is a series that we're doing with instructional technology specialist Calypso Gilstrap from Virginia Department of Education. And one of Calypso's tasks is she helps with the training and management of Go Open VA, which I have found to be a very useful tool as a technology person. And even though I'm not in the classroom anymore, if I was, this would be something I would be super happy to use. And Blue Ridge PBS, where I work, is happy to be a contributor to Go Open VA. And we hope that this short series of kind of cute questions and answers will help you feel more comfortable using it. So, Calypso, thanks for taking some time to answer some of my questions. And we'll just start with the big question: with what is Go Open VA?
Oh, well, thanks for asking and being involved and supporting Go Open VA. Go Open VA started in 2017. The Virginia Commonwealth felt like our teachers needed access to open educational resources. That's basically from a single point of access. We have over 18,000 resources right now as of 2023 that are educational resources that teachers can use. A little bit difference between open and like public domain and free is that if it's open, that means that I can use it as a teacher and any way I want. And it still keeps the rights of the original content person. So for instance, Tom, I know that sometimes you create things on Go Open. Well, you get to keep the rights of you being the originator of the resources, but I can change them for my classroom. So that's what the purpose of the Go Open is. We also wanted to make sure that everything was aligned with Virginia standards, which are unique to our Commonwealth. And also the last thing that I really like about Go Open is it's a community. So create a username and then you can get connected with hubs or groups, and you guys, no matter where you live in the Commonwealth, can get connected with other educators. So for instance, one of our groups is math teachers, and all the math teachers can be in there creating, sharing ideas, talking about obstacles, adapting resources that they have from their classroom into the Go Open. Everything in our Go Open is a teaching, learning, or research material. So that's nice. You don't have to worry about what am I going to be looking at? Is it going to have commercial things? Am I going to get spammed? All those kind of things. It also is 100% free. Nothing in there is going to cost you money. And my favorite thing about it is nothing is copyrighted. So I don't have to go in. I remember during COVID, I was a school librarian and I was constantly like, oh, do I have the author's permission to share this? I know some other teacher put it on their blog, but that doesn't mean that it's copyright free. A lot of people were scanning worksheets that I didn't, at the bottom it said that it wasn't reproducible, and yet people are putting it on there. Everything in Go Open is vetted by our school librarians, and looking at those resources, they're only contributed by providers that are high quality. And you can also, as a user, rate those. So you can look and say, oh, this resource has 67 5 stars. It's a good resource.
I'm a classroom teacher.
Mm-hmm.
How do I access it? How do I get in there?
Yeah, so Go Open VA is open to the entire public. Anybody who goes to the website can go in there and look at the resources, but you're really missing out on the ability to contribute, remix, rate, evaluate, and those kind of things if you don't have an account. So it's super easy to get an account. If you are an educator and you have a single sign-on system in your school division like Clever or Google, you just click sign up or log in, click on sign in with Clever, and you're in. That's it. That's all you have to do. Of course, we want you to go in and update your profile, put your picture in there, tell us where you work. But if you don't, if you're, for instance, a university professor and you want your students to be learning about Go Open and contributing it before they're a classroom teacher and they're not attached to a division, you just email info@goopenva.org.
And I think, we don't need to go into detail here, but you've talked about adding pictures and that kind of thing. That's all part of the profile, right? So people can manage their profiles.
Yeah, absolutely. You can put in your picture. You can say what your interests are. That helps it easier too for us to identify like where you're teaching at. If you're in a small rural division, if you're in Region 1, it also helps us too if you're in a group to automatically be accepted into that group by the administrator if you say who you are. So if you say I'm a third grade English learning specialist, then you're going to be able to get into that EL group a lot easier than if it's super vague. If it just says user number 42.
I think a lot of people get started with Go Open VA with, first of all, they're just looking what's there. How do you use the search tool? How do you discover resources? And is it, I mean, it's almost, I know that it's almost something we don't need to explain too much, but what are some of the quirks, or how do you find your resources?
Yeah, it's yeah, it's almost silly to make a video because it's so easy to look on Go Open VA. So there's kind of three different ways you can search. One, you can just do a browse. Like you can literally just click on browse and you can see all 18,000 resources that we have today. Just browse. You can, do a more advanced filtering system, those kind of things. The second way to search is a keyword search, and that would be where you look for a specific lesson. Like maybe you want to do something about race cars. You can type in race cars, and anybody who's tagged race cars in their lesson, it's going to bring it up. And then you can do an advanced filter there by saying like what grade and those kind of things. You can also, with a keyword search, browse by the standards. So for instance, one of my favorite ways to look is I'm going to look at my core area content like third grade math. And then I'm going to look at the digital learning integration standards for that lesson to see if I can find a way to teach math with digital learning integration or computer science or some other cross-curricular thing. That's what's great about the Go Open website too, is we have all of our standards cross connected. So for instance, if you want something that is science and math together, you can look for that really easily. The other way you can look is by collections, groups, or hubs. Collections are special curated collections based on a topic or a subject or a group. So for instance, NASA is one of our providers, which is super cool. We have over 700 lessons from the Air and Space Museum and NASA, and you can easily go into that collection and just scroll down and see all the awesome resources that they have. You can look through a hub, which that is basically a group of educators who put together some really robust lessons for us based on either a topic or a group. So for instance, a hub, Code VA, is one of our hub providers. They have thousands of computer science lessons that are all designed for Virginia students. And then the last one is a group. So that's like a group of people. So for instance, you might be able to find a third grade math group and be able to find the lessons and resources that that group specifically has. And if you're a third grade math teacher, you should join that group so you can contribute.
How do people, like, let's say you find these resources and you want to be able to look at them later when you're at school or when you're at home, or next year when you're going through this again. Is it possible to save your resources so that it's easy to find things, share things with other people?
Oh yeah, in your profile, especially if you get your own personalized account and you save your profile, you can create private folders and organize those resources however you want. You can even have them in two different folders if you have two different ways you're thinking or planning. And then you can actually make those private folders, or you can share them with somebody else. So if you have a collaborative team, you can create folders and share everything that you want to do in that folder. You can also create things in a folder that you are working on too and put things in draft. So folders are a great saver of all of your stuff. I mean, I think if I was a classroom teacher, I would definitely have it chronological. This is what we're doing the first week of school. This is what we're doing the second week of school. But you can also go by areas or groups of people, those kind of things. Super easy to stay organized.
And that's great because, again, we all have our own way of saving things, but this is something that it's specifically designed for teachers to use in their classroom and save again. It's not just bookmarking things. It's not, it's a much more organized way of doing it. And I guess my last question on this, for this video, in terms of exploring the resources is, I think I know the answer to this, but can I integrate Go Open VA into my digital classroom?
Yeah, in our help center, you can actually get the LTI information needed to integrate this into any learning management system supported in Virginia. So you can put this into Google Classroom, you can put it into your Canvas, you can put it into Schoology, like directly in for students. You can assign the resource to them. A lot of the things that are in Go Open are full, robust modules. And so you can take that module out of Go Open VA, put it into your Canvas course, and have students learning from it in 10 minutes. If you want to change it up too, you can do that too inside of the modules on Go Open VA. So yeah, it's super easy to integrate. All you have to do is sign in, align your LTI, and it's in. And if you need help with that, your instructional technology resource teacher is going to be able to hook you up with that.
And I think that's important because I first became exposed to Go Open VA several years ago, many years ago, but it's neat to see the way it's evolved. So if you haven't looked at it in a while, I just encourage teachers to go back, look again. If you're a curriculum person for a school division, again, make sure that you are encouraging your teachers to use this valuable resource from the Department of Education, and that really it's not from the Department of Education. It really is something that is from all of us as educators, sharing with everybody else, which is really the spirit of everything we like to do. So Calypso, thanks so much for answering these questions, and we'll do another one of these on the next subject, which is going to be creating. And if you are a creator, not just someone who's accessing content that other people have made, how do you make that available? How do you align it? How do you do make sure it meets the standards? So thanks so much, and we'll be back to talk about more.
Thanks. It's been a delight.